A global political solution to migration. Addressing root causes. Picture this. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. A family is walking through the desert with one backpack, one bottle of water, and one decision already made. They cannot go back. No one leaves home like this unless staying has become more dangerous than the journey itself. That image is not an exception. It is the human face of a global system under strain. And it leads to the question most political debates work hard to avoid. If walls, patrols, and deterrence truly worked, why are more people on the move today than at any point in modern history? Migration is not a sudden crisis. It is a warning signal. It is what happens when political systems fail to deliver safety, dignity, and possibility at scale. Yet global politics continues to treat migration as a problem of movement rather than a problem of causation. More than 280 million people now live outside their country of birth. Over 100 million have been forcibly displaced by conflict, repression, or disaster. These numbers are not anomalies to be managed. They are symptoms of deeper structural breakdowns. Every major migration route in the world traces back to the same reality. People move when futures collapse. Armed conflict and political instability remain the most immediate drivers. War destroys not only infrastructure but trust that tomorrow will exist. When states cannot protect their citizens, provide basic services, or uphold rights, migration becomes an act of survival. The international system responds late and expensively, mobilizing humanitarian aid after displacement while chronically underinvesting in diplomacy, conflict prevention, and governance reform. People flee not because their countries failed overnight, but because failure was allowed to harden over time. Economic forces deepen that pressure. In many regions, people are not escaping poverty alone. They are escaping stagnation. Youth populations grow while job markets shrink. Informal labor dominates, wages collapse, and economies are shaped to extract value rather than build opportunity. Global supply chains benefit from weak protections and cheap labor, yet offer little reinvestment in local resilience. Under these conditions, migration is not a gamble. It is a rational response to a rigged system. When legal mobility is blocked, irregular migration inevitably fills the gap. Climate change accelerates everything. It rarely arrives as a single dramatic event. It arrives as repeated crop failures, shrinking water sources, flooded neighborhoods, and rising food prices. Livelihoods erode long before borders are crossed. Those least responsible for global emissions face the highest displacement risks. Yet international law still fails to recognize climate-displaced people as deserving protection. Climate migration is not a future scenario. It is a present reality moving faster than political adaptation. Demography adds another layer of contradiction. Many high-income societies are aging rapidly and running out of workers. Many low-income societies are young and running out of opportunity. Migration could bridge this divide. Instead, it is framed as a threat, detached from labor needs and economic reality. This mismatch is not accidental. It is the outcome of policy choices that refuse to integrate migration into long-term planning. Despite this, political responses remain stubbornly border-first. Each election cycle promises tougher enforcement. Each year, migration continues. Deterrence does not stop movement. It reroutes it. It makes journeys deadlier, empowers criminal networks, and shifts responsibility onto neighboring states least equipped to carry it. Migration is global, but responses are national. The costs are shared, while the blame is localized. No country can insulate itself from systemic failure elsewhere. A serious response requires a global political reset, one that treats migration as a systems issue rather than a security anomaly. The core of that reset is a root cause-centered migration compact that aligns conflict prevention, climate action, economic development, and legal mobility into a single political framework. This is not idealism. It is course correction. Preventing displacement must become as politically valued as managing borders. Investing early in peace building, inclusive governance, and anti-corruption institutions is far cheaper and more humane than responding after millions are uprooted. Climate adaptation funding must move at the scale of risk, paired with legal recognition for those displaced by environmental collapse and planned, voluntary relocation where necessary. Staying should be viable. Moving should be safe. Economic dignity must be restored where people live. Large-scale investment in local industries, green jobs, and digital access can turn survival migration into genuine choice. Fairer trade terms and strategic debt relief can stabilize fragile economies before desperation sets in. At the same time, legal and managed labor mobility must expand to reflect real workforce needs. When movement is lawful and protected, exploitation collapses and mutual benefit emerges. None of this works without shared responsibility. Refugee protection cannot depend on geography alone. Frontline states cannot shoulder global displacement while others opt out. Stronger global governance, predictable responsibility sharing, and early warning systems for displacement are not acts of generosity. They are acts of self-preservation. The political objection is familiar. Critics claim this threatens sovereignty or is politically unrealistic. But unmanaged migration already undermines sovereignty, fuels polarization, and destabilizes regions. What is truly unrealistic is believing that deterrence will succeed where it has failed for decades. Migration is not the crisis. The crisis is a world in which millions are forced to move simply to survive, and politics responds by pretending that movement itself is the problem. The choice is not whether migration will continue. It will. The choice is whether the global community confronts the causes that drive it, or continues reacting at the edges. History will not ask how high the walls were. It will ask whether leaders had the courage to fix what made people flee in the first place.